Göteborg Barriere here, and I apologize for taking time. I have been so busy, so I want to apologize for everything. Alright, today we're going to talk about males in work. As you know, everybody looking for a job, regardless if we are males or females whatsoever. Any career is open whatsoever, that's great. But in some communities we know there will always be males who will work, even if that's not enough. But whether it is enough or not, both males and females need at least a job so each and anyone can provide for themselves. Islam, on the other hand, can be hard sometimes on females, because we're always talking about why they have to stay and provide for each and one at home and so on, when in reality they should have a job and be independent as well, whether they are single or married. Alright, what about males? Well, as you know, males looking for a job, and that's very normal, no problem at all. Because, again, we're talking about providers whatsoever. But they don't have to be the provider alone. Females can too. But, when it comes to the job as we're talking about, okay, as a Muslim, there will be always a critique about which job you're looking for. I don't get it. Because if you're going to work in a convenience store or maybe a grocery store or anything at all, like a butcher, of course there's going to be a problem. Because again, as a preacher, even if you have getting a job, they want you to have a specific job rather than a job. It means job you should stay away from, like a butcher. But what kind of butcher? Here's the thing, you can be a butcher, but you're not supposed to touch the pork. That's what they mean. But again, they work in a convenience store. How can they, in this case, avoid pork? It's not like they're going to eat pork. But in this case, they literally mean that it doesn't matter if they eat the pork. I mean, it doesn't matter even if they don't eat the pork. They are not supposed to touch the pork at all. But here's the thing. He was just looking for a job, and he found one for once. Can't he just keep the job in this case? No. Because, again, it is about the pork. You're not supposed to touch the pork. It would be another thing if you work with other things. But in this case, any preacher wants you in this case to work in a real Islamic, or should I say, a place that each and any butcher can work without any pork, or touching the pork whatsoever. I get it. Because of our own religion, who might say many things, but they're forgetting. It's not like they're going to touch it. And if they can talk with their bosses about, I am not about to touch the pork because my religion forbidding it. We are not so sure if any CEO or bosses will at least listen. Some of them are maybe gladly to listen, while others doesn't. They see it as a ridiculous thing. Either they will chanting and telling you that you can still touch the pork whatsoever because that won't even harm you, or firing you because you don't obey the order, all because Well, as we used to say, that's our job, that's our task. We have to handle everything. And if you're a butcher, you can't just reject one unless it is a problem with your health whatsoever. But you're not supposed to reject any of the tasks who are similar to everything. It is your job. But of course it's not enough for the preacher. The preacher is always saying you're not supposed to touch it even if you don't eat it. And you have always protection, yet it's not enough. You will still have a problem. That won't even give you ummah, kind of. You're losing it in this case, in their minds. But not all preachers agree, because some of them can argue that so long he doesn't eat any pork, well, that's fine. But many preachers will still argue, yeah, but what about the pork? The pork will be a problem, and he will have a problem with Allah. And maybe they will argue until they come up to a solution, or they will still keep fighting about the person's choice for choosing to take care of, well, his task. Basically that. I mean, again, wasn't the whole point to find a job, yet denying it? Because if the preacher is still saying that he has to change the job, and later maybe shame him if he doesn't do that, again, to what reason? Should he lose his job all because he found a job and since the religion? Okay, I can say two things. I'm not so sure if there had been any discussion about touching the pork. No, it doesn't stand in the Quran at all. It only stands that you are not supposed to eat the pork because there's a lot of shit in it. Now, I ain't saying precisely everything what it stands, but I'm just telling you, so you can understand. Whatever it actually have inside, that doesn't matter at all. What I'm saying is, so long that person doesn't eat, what is the problem? He worked as a butcher. It is his job to take care of the flesh of everything whatsoever. It is his task. He is a butcher. Should he reject one particular meat all because he is not allowed to do that? How long are we going to fight about what is the right job for you whatsoever? I get it when it comes to some parents who might argue, well, you can't work in a convenience store all because of this and that. Either they're talking about money or knowing what career is better than nothing, or is it because of some particular thing they have in their mind, even if that doesn't stand in the Quran. And that thing, as I get, when it comes to this preacher who will still argue, well, this is not great for your ummah, or this is not great for Islam, because you're working in a convenience store and as a butcher touching the pig. It is disgusting. I mean, again, I don't get it. Because that's exactly the specific thing Muhammad said, that you're not supposed to eat. It doesn't stand about you're not supposed to touch it at all. No. And whatever stands in the hadith, I don't care. Because the hadith, on the other hand, were later after Muhammad's death. So, yeah. Again, there should never be any rules where you're working, so long it is not about maybe a black market or maybe under a gangster whatsoever. That's the normal thing to warn someone, but telling them to stay away from something who have nothing, who have no rules at least, yet it is still the creature's mind that he thinks that it is disgusting to touch the pig. But why combine it when in reality they're just saying that you're not supposed to eat it? It stands nothing about touching it. And whatever going to stand later in the Quran, depending on who holds the book, there will always be someone who will write it later, right? Who knows? There will always be a change no matter what. But I have only one thing to say to you, my friend. Don't care. Even if someone's saying you're not supposed to touch the pork, that's not their choice. That's your choice. You should work in that job you were offered to do. That's enough. No one should tell you where to work, when to work, or what to work with, whatsoever. That's your own choice. And you know exactly how hard it is to get a new job, and especially with capitalism and running willy-nilly all the time. Yes. So of course you shouldn't miss your chance all because of one ridiculous ruling. I get it if there will be a verse of Mike forbidding you, but again, there is no harm to even look after a job, even if that would stand in the Quran who literally saying you're not supposed to look after that. But I understand, some of you want to follow the rules, that's okay, but in the same time, if there is some preacher saying you're not supposed to look after that kind of job, that's not their, that shouldn't be their rules, that shouldn't be their choice, it's your choice. They shouldn't command you to not work in a convenience store, that's your choice. And if you want to be a butcher, then you are a butcher. Congrats! Be happy with that. And I get it if there is people literally going to say, well, you working as a butcher, that's haram. Wait. How can it be haram if I'm a butcher? There is some halal stores as well who working as a butcher who may never have to touch the pork. So why should it be haram when it comes to me, all because there's a public store, or maybe a convenience store as I mentioned, who are allowing us to work on each and any meat we have to butcher. Yes, I said that. But hey, again, everybody have a mind to say whatever it is. And even if you're going to hear from your own parents, that's not their choice. That's your choice. But I get it if you want to follow everything they say and you don't want to make them sad. But realize this, you did the job. You're the one who earned it. You're the one who actually do the task, not them. They have nothing with your task to do. That's up to you, if you want to take the task or not. But I would recommend you to not even talk about your task. If that is too much for your case, you can literally say, well, I work with everything except for the pork. That would be easy, but in the same time when you're going to get out with it, that will be a problem because sometimes a parent maybe visit the place or someone else as you know. And as we know, there's a bunch of stitchers out there, and in reality gossipers in this case. And that will spread as usual, and I get it, it's hard. It's never easy. I get it, it is very hard to even think about that. And yeah, I get it. it is hard. So as I say, as your own Devil Bayer, I say, rock on. Don't let something stop you. Don't let anyone stop you. Not a preacher, at least. Even if I get, it will be harder for you to say to a parent, please stop. But you can still talk with them nice and by telling that I ain't going to change any job. I found a job and that's it. I try to provide for myself, or provide for my family, or provide for the parents as well. That doesn't matter. The point is, you found a job, that's enough. So congrats. Be proud of yourself. That's it. Alright. I thank you for taking your time and I hope everything will be fine. And I hope each and any males understand that you're doing a great job. So don't you dare think that your preacher or anyone had right to say you're working in the wrong place. No. You choose it and that's it. Congrats. Alright, that's enough. I want to thank you for taking time and listen to me. I am the second Shaitan, the bean devil as you know, the seventh devil of Islam, the devil Bayer, your comfort. I wish you good night and take it easy. Bye.